Good evening, Commanders. This is Ian with Mercury Fleet Command. Tonight we're going to be resuming our series of possible builds with Rapid Reinforcement 1 materials. Tonight we'll be looking at the Separatists. Separatists are the only ones that didn't receive a squadron, but they did receive what I think is the most interesting ship out of the four. They got a flotilla that doesn't operate like other flotillas. The Victory operates like another Victory. The Venator operates like a Venator. Even in some regards, the Providence operates like other Providences. It's a large. Anyway, so jumping straight back into um, the Separatist list. So we're going to switch back over to Ryan Kingston's. Like I said, this is the de facto standard. Ryan Kingston's Armada Fleet Builder is amazing. If if you got some spare change, donate some money to him because it's well worth the cost. Okay, so tonight we are like I said, building a separatist list. I'm actually going to start with the name of the fleet, and this is click, 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 boom. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with the heavy hitter in the list. We're going to go with a Recusant, the 85-point Recusant, the red and black variant. Tonight we're going to be making a Martuk list. Martuk is fantastic for adding dice, and if you've got ships that have low dice count, then it can really beef them up really fast. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and add to this is we're going to add in TRCs. This is kind of an unusual call, but the Recusant does have an evade, so TRCs can help deal consistent damage. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add Patriot's Fist, so that way we can do more damage at long range. We're also going to add in APTs in case somebody wants to close that distance and cut off Patriot's Fist. Fantastic. Now we're in close range and the APTs can start raining in some extra damage. Then we're also going to add in some proximity mines. Proximity mines are actually going to be part of the theme of this build, and it's just to really give some extra meat to this and actually give more targets to shoot at, hopefully reducing damage incoming. All right, let's go ahead and we'll revisit the Recusant once we get back after adding a couple more ships. So we're going to add a hard cell because hard cells are pretty much the mainstay. I mean, 3 red out the front, and it's a brace, a redirect, and an evade. They're great little ships. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to add XI7s. This focuses on Martuk's desire to not drain all of the shields. So that way you're just trying to punch a hole through. And then we're also going to go ahead and add proximity mines to these as well. And then we're just going to copy and paste 3 of these. So now we're at about 320, and we're looking pretty good. The next thing we're going to add is our 2 Gazantes. Now our 2 Gazantes, they're going to be identical, so I'm going to do 1. Overload pulse, and the funny extra bit here is we're actually going to put weapons battery text on them. So this combination you haven't really seen before, but it turns that 1 blue dice that it's throwing and basically says, 75% of the time it's actually going to be a crit. Or I'm sorry, 50% of the time it's going to be a crit because I get to turn my accuracies, which I don't need, into the blue crit, which I do need. That's going to wreak some havoc, and like I said, we're going to need 2 of those. And what do you know? We're at 400 points on the mark with a 6 activation list fleet. So we got click, 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 the first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then boom. So you are actually going to end up telegraphing your moves. Your 2 Gazantes are going to go in. try and tie up and exhaust defense tokens on at least one ship, and then hard cells are going to focus it. Patriot's Fist is going to focus it, and you just rinse and repeat every round. Like I said, the Gazantes here, instead of being fleet support, these actually end up being annoying little harassers. So you have a ship that instead of having like a support team or anything like that, it actually has a weapons team, and it has it has an ion upgrade. So it's just a nasty little thought process there. In addition, it's got a scatter, so you can run up close and almost rely on your scatter to get you, in medium range and start raining down the overload pulses. Additionally, you also have 4 proximity mines to kind of hope that you can guide ships into a specific area and then just rain down 3 red, again 3 red, again 3 red, again 4 red, and then all the while, hopefully, Martuk will be adding in another red, another red, another red, another red. This is my take on a Martuk list. I think that it only lives in the game now because the Gazantes have allowed you to exhaust the defense tokens. They add in a little bit of extra damage. 1 extra damage per. This is not a lot, but it is enough to start making people lose their shields, but only in one zone, which is what Martuk wants, to add in all those extra dice. You want to kill the opponent's ship while it still has shields. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's a very heavy hitter. You've got a lot of fast-moving ships. The Recusant is kind of a glass cannon, but it's got a pretty good defensive suite. So it's got a brace, a redirect, an evade, and a salvo. You have your hard cells with brace, redirect, and evade. So this is a natural sort of evasive counter to the Onager build right now. And then as soon as you can start getting in long range, you can start tearing apart just about anything. So let's go ahead, and now that we've taken a look at the list, let's go ahead and add some objectives now. For this objective set, I'm actually wanted to go with Most Wanted, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go with Surprise Attack. We're going to force the enemy flagship, hopefully that's not Corvus. Other than that, we're going to force the enemy flagship to be right where we want, in long range, on turn 1. So that way you can start having all but your Gazantes just raining down pure fire on them. For defense, the natural thought here is fire lanes, and I agree. You've got so many ships with so many good arcs that fire lanes just makes the most sense here. And then followed by, so I went back and forth 50-50 on this one. I think that superior positions seems like it's okay, but again, we're not squadrons, so we're not going to touch it. I wanted to go minefields to maximize the proximity mine effect, but without squadrons, without strategic, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Solar Corona, another fantastic choice, but at the end of the day, I'm actually going to go with Dangerous Territory. Let me jump into that one. Solar Corona would be a very good one because you get to force their deployment before so you can react entirely, but you have 6 ships, you have 2 Gazantes to deploy before deploying anything with any real teeth. You can wait out most of their deployments. Dangerous Territory would allow you to fly however you would like because you get to avoid the damage from obstacles. So you can actually use obstacles as strategic cover for your Gazantes as they're coming in, and then just literally land on them and pop your nose out and go, here, have an overload pulse. Additionally, since you have so many ships, you could set one each out running after one of the obstacles to go capture its tokens. It's not going to happen that way because a savvy player will place at least 3 of them next to themselves, but you can really just focus your Gazantes, or maybe one hard cell will now be just running around grabbing all the tokens that it can, allowing you to maximize your your victory point conditions. Other than that, thank you for joining me this evening. If you're out in the Houston area, you can join us on Tuesday nights at the Forge, or on Thursday nights at Dragon Slayer. And until next time, guys, have fun and fly casual.